Welcome back, everyone. So today we are going to be dissecting a Tool song, which was requested by Naven's Purpose, or Ninja Naven, whatever you want to call it. So, yes, this song is called Invincible, and this is the second edition in my little series, which is where I dissect different Tool songs. As you know, Tool is my favorite band, and yeah, I find their music very, very, very interesting and inspiring. Now, Invincible is off their latest album, Fear Inoculum, and they actually played Invincible, or at least a kind of a demo version of it live, before the album actually came out. When I first heard it, it was not the greatest thing I'd ever heard, but now that I've heard it in the actual album, it's really good. So, as always, this is a lyrical dissection. We're not going to go too deep into the musical content itself, specifically the lyrics. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. You can find lots of other, or a few other Tool-related videos, and I'm hoping to keep doing this, so keep recommending Tool songs you want me to dissect. And remember, this is my perspective on these songs, because, you know, I love Tool, but I've noticed that a lot of different people on the internet like to attribute every single one of their songs to drugs or to other things, you know. So this is my perspective on the song, and a lot of times I'll take into account what the writers said themselves, but a lot of times they don't say much about what their songs mean, specifically Tool. So yeah, we're just gonna see what we can discover about this song. So let me pull up the lyrics, and you can follow along with me as I dissect this song from my point of view and what I think it means. Invincible by Tool. All right, so we've got verse 1. Long in tooth and soul, longing for another win. Okay, so long in the tooth would be getting older, aging. When I first heard this song, I thought I had an idea of it that has been refined as I've heard it more times. And originally I heard just a song about a warrior, like in a battle, but now I've seen that's more of an allegorical approach. And remember, this is all my opinion, but this seems to be more of an allegory than actually what the song is about. So he says, I'm getting older, long in tooth and soul. So normally you say something's long in the tooth means it's getting older. He makes it, and you know how Maynard is a genius with his lyrics. So he takes that, you know, kind of old-fashioned, kind of derogatory statement or saying, and he makes it 1,000 times deeper by adding the word soul to it. So he's long in the tooth, but also long in soul. And he's longing for another win. So it makes you think whoever's singing this has not won in a while. Lurch into the fray. Now notice these describing words. Lurching would be like, it's not a confident move. It's almost a painful, hunched over movement, right? I'm lurching in, I'm left in the lurch, right? Or I'm lurching to the fray. Now, what is the fray? That would be like, in the context of a battle, lurching into the fray, or charging into the fray is what you'd say normally, would be you just entering the battlefield or where everything's going on. Weapon out and belly in. Okay, so first off, I would like to say that I've read different things about this song, and I saw that some people thought that Weapon Out and Belly In was a direct reference to Maynard himself, because he would, like, suck in his stomach before going on stage, so that his, like, so that it was something to do with his singing. His chest was more out so that he could, you know, spew more vocal power. I don't know exactly what it was. And the weapon would mean the microphone. I think of it more in the terms of, I think of this whole song as an allegorical approach to getting older, and then coming to terms with getting older. That is my basic idea of this around this entire song. And this is not my favorite Tool song, mainly because I'm 16 years old. I cannot relate very well to this song yet, right? I'm not an old man or anything like that yet. So when I read these lyrics, I understand where he's coming from, but I cannot personally myself relate myself to this song, if that makes any sense. But anyway, so Weapon Out in Bellion, continuing on the battle allegory, would be you've got your weapon out, but you're getting, as people get older, you know, lack of activity makes muscle kind of turn to fat, and then, so the belly in thing I think is more of I'm ashamed of what I've become, and I'm sucking in, I'm hiding what I've become, and I'm still out there lurching into the fray with my weapon, right? And he says I'm a warrior struggling to remain consequential. So a warrior or an older warrior is struggling to stay in the public eye, to stay the glorious hero, right? Bellow aloud. And his voice is incredible in this song. He goes, bellow aloud. It's so good how he holds these notes. And he makes the words sound like something else entirely. Like, when he says bellow aloud, that's certainly not what it sounds like he's saying. But anyway, bellow aloud would be to shout, a bellow, charge, you're just, it's a shout, right? So bellow aloud, bold and proud of where I've been. So it's boasting, really. I'm boasting of where I was. But in the back of my mind, I've got this thought down here, which is, but here I am. But here I am, right? So he says, bellow aloud, bold and proud of where I've been. Boasting, confident, but here I am. Whoops. That's the sadness. That's the secondary thought. Here I am. I'm no longer on top of the world. So then you've got beating chest and drums. So, beating the drums, we're marching to the drum beat. Again, all war. This is all a war type of thing. And that's a common theme throughout this new album, Fear Inoculum, is a lot of things about battle and rising, calling all to arms in order, right? To quote, I believe, Descending. And the tempest must be, so there's a lot of righteous indignation and holy crusading themes in this album. So then he says, being chest and drums, beating tired bones again. So again, a lot of juxtaposition in this song. You've got confident, then not confident. It's like this train of thought that goes up and down like a roller coaster. I'm beating chest and drums, charging into battle, but I'm really lurching into battle, and my bones are tired. Age-old battle is mine, right? So he says, age-old battle, mine. And now, here's the thing. When I first heard it, I thought he said age-old battle mind, right? That's one thing that you could interpret that as. Second, age-old battle mine, as in like a bomb. Those are two different ways to interpret that line. Age-old battle mine, though, I think he's claiming the battle as his own. He says the age-old battle is mine. It is mine to fight, and I will keep fighting it. Why are these people taking it away from me, right? And if you relate this to Maynard specifically, it could be them just feeling like Tool's not going much farther, or that they're getting older and they're no longer, the rock stars they used to be. Although, judging from the reception this album has received, I don't entirely believe that's true, because they topped the Billboard Top 100 for multiple days, beat Taylor Swift and her new album. I think they were finally knocked out by, I don't remember what his name is, the guy with Jesus is King, the album, that rapper guy, I don't know. Anyway, But they were on top of the world. You know, Slipknot too. Rock was experiencing a bit of a revolution, I think last year, 2019. Is that when We Are Not Your Kind came out? Something like that. You guys know I love metal music. So, anyway, let's continue. Age old battle. He's claiming the battle for himself. And as I was trying to make the point a second ago, other people are taking the place of the rock star. These rappers and these pop icons are taking the place of the rock star. And Tool was always very unique. And this could be just Maynard's own existential crisis. However, I like to look deeper than that, as you can see from my other interpretation of the song Sweat off of Opiate, that I like to try to take it and make it relatable on a more universal level than just whatever Maynard happens to be thinking, right? So, Age Old Battle Mine would be for anyone going through any situation where they have their place, that what they've been fighting for has kind of been taken from them. They've passed the baton on to the next runner on the line, right? So, Age Old Battle Mine, Weapon Out in Bellion. We already discussed Weapon Out in Bellion. Of tales told, of battles won, of things we've done, Caligula would grin. Now, let's go through this, and I also want to research or look up right here what does Caligula mean? Because I think it's probably the name of some pagan god of war, most likely, but we're going to see. That's my guess. I have not researched that. Tales told of battles won. So again, I'm boasting of things we've done. But let's see, Caligula. Let me... C-A-L-I-G-U. Caligula movie. The Caligula effect. Not movie. No, don't want movie at the end of it. Huh, I have no idea. Yeah, it's still coming up as movie. Okay then. Roman Emperor, it says. An erotic historical drama film. But let's pass that. The fall of a Roman Emperor Caligula. And I do not know who Caligula is still. Who was Caligula? Let's try that. Let's get off of this. Who was Caligula? There we go. The actor that played... Okay, let's see. Was the third Roman emperor, ruling from 37 to 41. Okay, that's a very short time span. Probably went to war. Son of popular Roman general. He was assassinated. What was Caligula personality? Elements of madness, cruelty, viciousness, extravagance, and megalomania. He's described as a coarse and cruel despot with an extraordinary passion for sadism and a fierce energy. Okay, so sadist. So that works. Something like that. Wow, that's different than what I thought it was, but it still works. So Caligula would grin. That's a pretty obscure reference. Love you, Tool. Thank you for teaching me new things every day. Okay. Caligula would grin. So sadistically, the warrior or the leader of the Roman emperor leading his troops into battle, smiling as they die. You know, whatever. Verse 3, beating tired bones. We got through that already. Tripping through remember when. Okay, so tripping would be like drugs, right? Or literally tripping. And again, these adjectives of weakness. Lurch into the fray. Tripping through remember when. And remember when, I think, is basically him saying down memory lane. I'm remembering what I used to do, what I've been through, what I've gone through. Once invincible. I used to be on top of the world, but now the armor is wearing thin. So the armor is wearing thin. Again, the mentality, the flesh bag that his spirit is inside of is wearing thin, right? Heavy shield. Again, these adjectives. The heavy shield is weighing him down. He's feeling burdened by the heavy shield, and he drops it. Heavy shield down. Warrior struggling to remain relevant. a warrior struggling to remain consequential. And that is, in effect, the entire idea behind this song. Let me pull myself up for a second here. A lot of the idea behind this song is that of someone who is let me think. So these are weird examples, but Rocky 3 or Cars 3 or any movie where there are a million other movies where it's basically when you get older, you experience a sort of existential crisis. And this is especially true for these stars and big time people who everyone had known about because they were on top of the world and now there's someone else taking their place. And that's what I see in this entire song, and that's the idea behind it. Up till this point. Now, right around here, it starts to get interesting, at least by my perspective, as I find a lot of spiritual meaning in Tool. I know that they're not a very spiritual band, but I find a lot of spiritual meaning in them. So here, and I am going to talk about the music for a second here, because it gets crazy, so... Cry aloud, bold and proud of where I've been, but here I am, where I end. This is where things get interesting. Where I end, right? So we got through cry aloud. It's changed from bellow. It's crying now. I love these adjectives, or these describing words. Bold and proud of where I've been, but here I am, where I end. So he's dying, or at least some part of him is dying, or some part of the listener or the singer is dying. You got warrior struggling to remain relevant, warrior struggling to remain consequential again. Then there's this instrumental bridge, right? That's what they call it. It is this riff, and I believe it goes... That's basically the entire riff. And it goes on for a really long time, and there's a lot of little variations. There's this insane drumming solo going on. Danny Carey's a god on the drums, right? He's the octopus. He's Cthulhu, right? But what I want to draw your attention to, if you're listening to the song, and there will be a link to the song in the description. I highly recommend you go listen to it if you haven't already. You get this moment where suddenly all the instruments stop. It builds up, 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 up. Everything just stops. And there's like a few seconds of silence. And the drumming and the riff that keeps repeating reminds me a little bit of a heartbeat. And then the heartbeat stops. I am in awe of progressive rock, and right here I think that you can see they're trying to symbolize the death of something, or a change of heart. And this is my favorite part of the song, and he gets to the refrain, which he says multiple times. And the first time it's really slow, and then the second time he says it way faster. And you notice here is another instrumental cue with his voice. So he starts singing, and I'm going to go over these words. Tears in my eyes. So I'm crying. Chasing Ponce de Leon's phantoms. Okay, if you don't know who Ponce de Leon is, he is the one who supposedly discovered the fountain of youth. The fountain of immortality. Another rather obscure but incredible reference that makes the point perfectly. Ponce de Leon's phantoms, right? The ghosts of him. I'm so filled with hope, I can taste mythical fountains. He can taste the immortality. False hope, perhaps. So it's likely, so he says he's so filled with hope he can taste the mythical fountains. But it's probably false hope. But the truth has never got in my way. The truth never got in my way. So he's saying that he's likely, like his faith or his hope is false. But it doesn't matter because he will keep believing because it's what's keeping him going. The truth never got in his way before now. But suddenly now is the time where he's seeing the truth or whatever, right? And he's feeling the sting, feeling time bearing down. I love this so much. And actually, I might have messed this up, just so you know. It might be right here that instrumental that goes to the heartbeat thing, which then all stops is. It might be right after this. So let me go over what his voice here changes. And it sounds electronic. It sounds industrial. It has this idea behind it of technology, where at the beginning you've got these tribal drums and he's giving a very ancient warrior style dark ages picture of a battle, but here his voice changes to sound like a digital robot, and it's not extreme, but I think again this is also symbolizing the passage of time and how it's affecting this guy, feeling time bearing down. And I guess here would be the heartbeat, and then everything stops. And then he says it again, and it's crazy. I love this part so much. He starts shouting it. So the first time it's tears in my eyes, chasing Ponce de Leon's phantom so filled with hope. Now at the end he goes, tears in my eyes, chasing Ponce de Leon's phantom so filled with hope. I can taste mythical fountains, false hope perhaps, but the truth never got in my way before now. Feel the sting, feeling time bearing down. And then there's another instrumental breakdown. And then he says, false hope perhaps, truth never got in my way again. And so we come to the end of a very negative song, really. I really like the song. It grew on me. Again, I cannot entirely relate to it, but I think I likely will be able to eventually. I don't know. Since everything I want to do has to do with the entertainment industry anyway. So I feel like if I do manage, if my dreams come true and I manage to make it big in the entertainment industry, something like this likely will happen to me, even in the best case scenario. So I feel like maybe I will one day understand exactly what he means, but I understand where he's coming from and how others might feel this way. Dang it, I've been talking for a long time. I hope you enjoyed this dissection, and I hope you learned something from it. Thank you for listening to me. I personally found this song, it's definitely not my favorite song off this album. My favorite song off the album is Numa. But let me know in the comments what other songs you'd like me to dissect, and let me know what you thought of my interpretation of this, and what maybe your interpretation of it is. Can you relate to it? I mean, I know a lot of the people who follow my channel follow me because of my Call of Cthulhu videos. And that's a pretty old game. And I know that a lot of the people who watch my videos are from different forums, different role-playing forums, role-playing games, right? And those are, you know, they might be made up of 50% newer people who are getting into this type of stuff through newest Dungeons and Dragons edition, and then the other 50% is all older guys and girls, you know, who still have continued playing since the 1980s and 1990s when the game first came out. So let me know if you agree. Let me know what you think. Go listen to the song because it's really good. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. Again, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to get more videos like this. And also, if you don't know what tabletop role-playing games are, please go check them out. That's all over my channel. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, Deathstroke 9 out.